Hey, Laker fans, welcome into today's show. Listen, the NBA draft is on November 18th. And if we don't have 24,000 subscribers before November 18th on this channel, the bosses here at Chat Sports are not going to be happy with me. So do it for me, do it for my bosses, and also get us to 24K for Kobe. All you got to do is scroll on down, hit that big red subscribe button, and help us continue to grow. I know you guys can do it by November 18th. You Laker fans are crazy about the Lakers, so prove it by subscribing today. Now let's get into our first rumor of the day. We're going back to the Chris Paul trade train. Kendrick Perkins, who, of course, likes to talk quite a bit about anything and everything NBA related, believes the Lakers will be the team that end up with Chris Paul this offseason. Now, as anyone knows, Chris Paul and LeBron James are best buddies, banana boat buddies, if you will, and Oklahoma City is in full rebuild mode. They're ready to ship off Chris Paul somehow, some way, and maybe the Lakers are the team to grab him because they don't really have a true point guard at this point. They've got Avery Bradley, they've got Rajon Rondo. Everybody else, kind of whatever. So here's what Kendrick Perkins had to say on the Lakers offseason. He said, I think the Lakers are going to land Chris Paul. I think Rondo is going to be with the Clippers, and I think y'all are going to lose playoff Rondo. I don't know why he had to say that twice, but there he said it. That's the guy I think y'all are going to lose. We all know how great of a friend LeBron James and Chris Paul are. Chris Paul has been on record this offseason saying that his destinations are the Lakers in LA or with New York. Now, I don't know where Chris Paul actually went on record saying this, but that is the widely believed thought process of Chris Paul. So here's kind of the trade that would have to happen to land Chris Paul, because it's tough to buy out that contract. 2 years, $40 million left on it per year. That's a lot of money. So that's not easy to buy out if you're the Thunder. So if the Lakers were to trade for him, it would have to look something like this. Kuzma, Caruso, Quinn Cook, Danny Green, KCP, and the 28th pick in this year's draft for Chris Paul. Now, the players involved, I mean, you lose Kuzma and you lose Caruso. Those are two very vital pieces. KCP was actually really good in the playoffs. Danny Green, and whatever. Quinn Cook, and whatever. And then the 28th pick in the draft, which can't be traded until 30 days after the draft. It's a lot, but it gets you a solid starting five. And now you have CP3, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, and I think you start Avery Bradley next to Chris Paul to kind of help out the backcourt defense. Is it realistic? I don't think so, at least not trade-wise. However, if there was a buyout or maybe a three-team trade that got involved, maybe it could happen, and maybe you can hold on to your younger guys like Caruso and Kyle Kuzma, which I think you should try to do if you're the Lakers. Now, if you're a Laker fan and you do want CP3 on this team, what would you offer for him? Would you give up Kuzma? Would you give up Caruso? Would you give up Taylor Horton-Tucker? Would you give up Danny Green and KCP? Let me know in the comment section. Give me your best trade idea. Maybe you've got a three-team trade idea out there that you could come up with. Whatever it may be, give me your offer. But remember, trades have to work on both sides. The Thunder have to be interested, and the Lakers have to be interested. So let's be realistic with this trade idea. What do you guys say? Now let's continue on with what Kendrick Perkins had to say. He talked about Rajon Rondo. He believes Rajon Rondo is going to leave this offseason. He thinks he's gone, and the Lakers are going to lose him to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, we do know that the Clippers are the only other team that have really showed true interest in Rajon Rondo, but we also know the Lakers want to bring Rondo back because of the way he performed in the playoffs and because of the veteran experience he brings to this point guard rotation that is already so thin. Now, he did a lot for this team in the finals. He did a lot for this team in the playoffs as well, and I think bringing Rondo back would be the smart thing to do if you can't go out and trade for a guy like Chris Paul, which seems fairly unlikely at this point anyway. So, yeah, the Lakers should bring back Rondo. I think he will end up back. I think Kendrick Perkins got this one wrong, but let's look at what he did in the regular season. It wasn't that great. Now, if you lose Rondo for the regular season, you're going to be okay. If you lost Rondo for the playoffs, might be a different story. Rondo in the regular season averaged about 7 points and 5 assists. Not a great shooter, but that improved in the playoffs as well. But if you look at the Clippers side of things, they need a guard. They need a real point guard coming off the bench because Beverly is their only true point guard that comes off the bench, and he's basically just a poor man version of what Rondo used to be. Now, Lou Williams is a great shooting guard, but he's not much of a point guard. Landry Shamet's definitely not a point guard, and Rodney Magruder's barely even an NBA-level player at this point in his career. Now, Reggie Jackson's a free agent. They might look to bring him back, but Rondo might be the answer for the Clippers. But the Lakers have quite a few free agents coming up this offseason. DeMarcus Cousins is one of them. Dwight Howard is one of them. Rajon Rondo is one of them. Markieff Morris is one of them. These are just the very notable ones that I wanted to bring up. So if you had to decide to bring one back, which one would you bring back? Type DC for DeMarcus Cousins. Type DH for Dwight Howard. Type RR for Rajon Rondo. Type MM for Markieff Morris. And if I'm the Lakers and I can only choose one of these four, I'm typing my DH for Dwight Howard on this one. Now let's go to the trade rumors surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. Could they go out and poach Nemanja Bjelica from the Sacramento Kings? According to Fansided, this is one guy the Lakers should target if they look to trade their 28th overall pick. Now the Kings don't really have a lot of use for Nemanja Bjelica. He's an older guy, not really old, but he's past his prime kind of guy. Not a piece to build for the future, more of a guy to help you win right now. And he's got a non-guaranteed contract in 2021, so in all reality, it wouldn't be crazy to see the Lakers go out and trade for this guy if they could guarantee that contract and he stays on for an extra year. He would be a perfect stretch four. He would be the stretch four that you kind of wanted Markieff Morris to be, but wasn't, as he shot 42% for the Kings in Sacramento this past year. Also put up 12 points per game and 6 rebounds. So a pretty good stretch four option for the Los Angeles Lakers if they can trade the 28th overall pick. Now, if they did that, I think a trade would look something like this, with Bjelica going to the Kings, and then the Lakers trade away Danny Green and dump that salary and also give up their first-round pick. Did the Kings do this? I don't know. Maybe they see somebody they really like at 28, and they're like, sure, we'll take on Danny Green's salary. We'll put him in the backcourt next to De'Aaron Fox. But in all reality, I don't think the Kings are very motivated by this trade, so you guys let me know who says no, the Kings or the Lakers. I say yes if I'm the Lakers. Bjelica is a great shooter, great option off the bench, upgrade over Danny Green. 28th pick, not probably going to land you a guy at Nemanja Bjelica's level, but maybe you get close. So let me know who says no. But one thing nobody should be saying no to right now is getting one of these awesome Lakers face masks at chatsports.com/Lakers mask. I tell you about this deal because I care about you Laker fans, because I want you to get the best deal and wear the coolest Lakers gear you can in these strange times when one of the best ways to rep your team is by wearing something on your face like this face covering. You can get 1, 2 packs of 3 or packs of 4, up to 30% off right now at the Fanatics website, and so many different styles of these masks are coming out on a regular basis. So go pick yours up today at chatsports.com/Lakers mask. Let's talk about Jamal Crawford, a guy who has been basically just linked to the Lakers for a long time now. Recently read an article on some of the ring chasers, quote unquote, that could be out there this offseason. And when you're talking ring chasers, the ultimate team to chase a ring with is the Los Angeles Lakers. So could they bring in Jamal Crawford to be their sixth man? Look, they signed Dion Waiters and they signed J.R. Smith to do that in the bubble. They didn't do a great job of that. Waiters was good in the regular season portion of the bubble, not so hot in the playoffs because he barely played. Here's the thing with Jamal Crawford. I know everybody's like, oh, Duke can still play. Have you seen his highlights in the summertime? Guys, he's 40 years old. His numbers haven't been good since 2017. In fact, I'd argue they weren't even that good since 2015. I mean, in all reality, this is a guy who is not going to bring you that much at this point in his career. The last time we saw him play a full season was with the Phoenix Suns, who were tanking for the number 1 pick. And even on a tanking team, he averaged 8 points and 4 assists per game. He's 40 years old. You don't want him on this team. It makes no sense. Even for the veterans minimum, not worth it. So let's take a look at some of the other ring chasers that are available out there if you really just want to go out and get a veteran that you think can help you a little bit. I put Jamal Crawford on the list because he's still a ring chaser and he's still out there. But the ultimate ring chaser this offseason is Carmelo Anthony. He wants to win one. He wants to be a valuable contributor. Of this list, he's still the most effective player on here. Now, Joakim Noah, if you need a big man, I guess is serviceable. He was okay with the Clippers. Thabo Sefolosha is kind of useless at this point in his career. He was useless with the Rockets. And then Isaiah Thomas. Look, Isaiah Thomas is 32 years old. He's already been on the Lakers once before. If you really desperately need a point guard, sure, maybe. But I'd rather just bring back Jeremy Lin if you're the Lakers. So, out on these guys, in on Carmelo Anthony, out on Jamal Crawford. Who do you want as the Lakers' sixth man next year, though? Maybe it's Dion Waiters. Maybe you do want him back for some reason. Maybe it's Kyle Kuzma. Maybe it is Carmelo Anthony. Maybe it's Danilo Gallinari. Give me your best suggestions in the comment section. He could be on the team or he could be a future free agent. Let me know who you guys got in the comment section below.